Hello all, I'm Ajitha, Assistant Professor in Department of Business Administration. Today I'm going to talk about decision making. There is no part in our life where we don't take decision. Similarly, in an organizational setup, may it be a small organization, medium size or large organization, in every aspect of business, decision making happens. So this decision making is a very, very important function of a management. So without decision making, there cannot be any activity executed in a business organization. Now coming to decision making is a process of selecting suitable course of action from all the alternative courses of action available. So from the alternatives available, we select which is a suitable course of action for our problem. So that process is known as decision making. Now let's see what are the basic elements in decision making. So the first element required in decision making is the decision maker. The decision maker is a person who takes decision. So without a decision maker, we cannot take a decision. The second is objective of decision maker. The decision maker should have an objective based on which he takes decision. And the third one is decision problem. There should be a decision problem for solving which a decision has to be taken. So that is also an important element. Next is an environment. Environment consists of all the factors which directly or indirectly affects the decision making process. All those factors put together is your decision environment. And next is alternative causes. All the solutions or all the alternative courses of actions which can be contributing to the decision, that is known as alternative causes. So from those alternative courses of action, we select the suitable one for us. That is known as final choice of alternatives. So these are the basic elements which are required for effective decision making. Now let's see what are the basic types of decision. There are many types of decisions which are classified on certain basis. The first one is programmed and non-programmed decision. Programmed decisions are those which are designed already. It is repetitive and it is used to solve routine problems. For example, in an organization, if a person comes late, half of his wage will be cut for that particular day. That is a routine problem. So that decision can be taken easily because it's already planned. So that kind of decision is known as programmed decision. So that is routine and used for routine and repetitive problems. Next is non-programmed decision are those decisions which are taken in a unique situation, unique problem. For example, if there is a sudden outbreak of a pandemic, what is the decision which has to be taken? That doesn't occur always in a repetitive manner. So that kind of decision taken in unique problems is known as non-programmed decision. Now let's see the basic differences between programmed and non-programmed decision. As I said, it is for repetitive and routine problems, programmed decisions, and non-programmed decisions are taken for unique and novel problems. And next is, this programmed decision usually happens in a certain condition. The condition or the environment in which decision is taken is known. So easily decisions can be taken. But in non-programmed decision, the conditions are uncertain. And in programmed decision, the decisions are taken according to some established procedures. Since that is repeatedly happening, the procedures are already established, already framed. So that is just implemented. But in non-programmed decision, creative or new solution has to be sorted out. And since in a programmed decision, established procedures are there, little judgment is required for implementing that decision, not much of thought is required. But in a non-programmed decision, a lot of thought and judgment has to be, in-depth judgment has to be taken for decision making. And usually this kind of programmed decisions are taken by the low-level executives in an organization, while for non-programmed decision, higher level executives take those decisions. The second type of decision is routine and strategic decision. Routine decisions are usually taken on a routine basis, for day-to-day operations. This decision involves less investment and low time period commitment. And that is taken at lower level executives or lower level management. People take those kind of decisions. But strategic decisions are those decisions which involve a long-term commitment and high investment. For example, business expansion that needs a lot of investment. So that is usually taken by high level authority. That is strategic decisions. Third one is organizational and personal decision. The decisions which affect the functioning of the organization, that is known as organizational decision. For example, how many products has to be produced per day. That is an organizational decision. But the decision which is taken by a person as an individual, which doesn't affect the functioning of the organization, is personal decision. For example, if a person purchases his own car, that is a personal decision. It is no way going to influence the functioning of an organization. So that is a personal decision. And the next basis for classification is individual and group decision. A decision taken by a single person is individual decision. For example, how many products I'm going to produce or what work I'm going to do today. If I'm taking a decision, that is individual decision. When group of people take a decision for which the group is formulated, that is group decision. For example, board of directors come together and they take some decision regarding the functioning of the organization, that is group decision. Next is administrative and operational decision. The policy decision which is taken at the administrative level, that is known as administrative decision. For example, in our organization, time management is very, very important policy to be followed. If the administrative management is taking that decision, that is administrative decision. And the other one is operational decision. This decision is taken at the lower level of management to implement that policy. For example, if people are coming late to the organization, wage cut will be there. That is the operational decision taken at the lower level of management to implement the policies taken by this administrative decisions. So those were the basis on which decisions were classified. Next, we'll see the steps involved in rational decision making. There are various steps involved in that. We'll see one by one. The first one is identifying the problem. For any problem which needs a decision to be taken, the problem has to be identified clearly and it has to be defined. If we don't identify the problem clearly, what happens is our decision will not be effective. It will not be implemented properly. So the first one, very, very important step is identification of problem for which decision has to be taken. And we have to define the problem clearly. That is very, very important. Next one is analyzing the problem. Once we identify the problem and define it clearly, the next step what we have to do is analyze the problem. In order to analyze the problem, we have to collect all the relevant facts related to the problems. Third one is developing alternative solutions. There will be many solutions available to a problem. We have to collect and develop all the alternative solutions to that problem. And the next one is evaluating the alternatives. Each and every alternative we have developed, we have to evaluate that based on certain factors. There are many factors. It can be quantitative or qualitative in nature. Quantitative factors are those which can be measured. For example, the time involved, the cost involved, that is quantitative factors. Qualitative factors are those which cannot be measured, like industrial relation, employee relation, etc. So those the alternatives has to be evaluated based on these factors which affect the decision. Next is deciding the best course of action. Now we have selected the alternative solutions, we have evaluated, and based on certain factors, we have to decide our best course of action. This can be decided on certain basis, like based on our past experience or based on certain research and analysis, or based on expert opinion, we can select our best course of action. And next is conversion of decision into action. This is a stage in which the actual implementation of decision takes place. So till this step, we were deciding which is that particular course of action we are going to take, and that has to be implemented. That is the conversion of decision into action. So in this step, in an organization, what we do is we communicate the decision to the employees, we allocate the resources, and we give them the responsibility and see to it that they implement the decision. And next is control. Once the decision is implemented, it has to be controlled. That is, we have to check whether the actual result varies from the expected result. If there is any deviation, we have to take corrective action. So all these steps are very, very important for a rational decision making. Now we'll see what are the basic guidelines which we have to follow to take effective decision making. First is we have to define the goals. As we have already seen, we have to clearly find out the problem, and we have to clearly define the goal for which decision is taken. Next is we should make sure that decision contribute to the goal. We'll have certain objectives, and what decision we are taking that should contribute to the goal, or that should augment in attaining the objective. Next is, in an organizational setup, when decision is taken and implemented, we have to involve the subordinate also. Next, we should ensure successful implementation. Just finding out the solution and taking decision is not important. The implementation of decision is equally important. Next one is evaluation of result. As we saw in the steps, the last one is control. So similarly, we have to evaluate the result to find out if there is some deviation. If the deviation is there, we have to take corrective action to bring it back to the expected result. And next is, our decision making should be kept flexible, and we should regularly revise it to update it, and we should have a proper follow-up mechanism to make it effective. The last one and very important one is keep proper time. A decision which is not taken on time is not worth at all. So we have to take decisions on time. That is very, very important in proper decision making. With this, we come to the end of this topic. Thank you.